Hello retro coders, we're back again making this simple Space Invader type game. If you were watching the previous session, I ran into a couple of problems where the enemies were not spawning as I expected them to. I have changed it since then, the code, so I'm going to show you what I changed. Didn't want to sit here too long debugging it. The first thing I did wrong, just in case you were following the code word for word, is where I load IX with enemy data and the sprite bitmap pointer into HL. I was calling call sprite instead of call enemies. That's not correct, and that was why we were getting one sprite, which was really confusing me, because one was working correctly and the rest of them just weren't being drawn. And then that led me to think maybe the spawning function was failing, or anyway, so I changed that so it reads like that. I've also moved it above the player, but that doesn't matter. Okay, that's our main function. Just for the record, I also added delete enemies. Like, that was live last night. We did that. In draw enemies, the only thing I needed to do differently was push HL, pop HL, because it was getting changed. Although, tell a lie, I haven't tested this correctly yet. I also made everyone of the enemies alive by default, so it looks like the spawning function is failing, which is here. So this afternoon, it's 3 o'clock here where I am. Got to be out of here, out of the house by 4, so this is only going to be like a 40-minute video, but we'll hopefully get this working. And then I'll be back later, not sure what time, but some point in the evening. I'm pretty keen to continue this again. So yeah, I've got a horrible feeling when I make this 0, all of these 0, we probably won't see any baddies. Yeah. So without a shadow of doubt, it must be this that's the problem, or the main. So if b spawn complete equals 0, call spawn new enemy, call spawn enemy wave. Okay. Spawn enemy wave. All I want this function to do is go through every enemy and make them 1. Make that is alive ball 1. And it looks to me like it works. I don't know why that doesn't work. We'll try that just in case. No effect. I've confirmed already that if these do become one, everything else will draw the code, draw the sprite as required. But we need a way of setting these to dead and then initializing them all in one go. And I'm damned if that doesn't do it for me. Why is that not working? I need some brain box to pop into the chat and tell me. Seriously, it looks straightforward and simple. I could try using the exact same format I've used here with the loop. See, that's going to already cause a problem because I need to. I need to have a jump for ending to the spawn so that I can set the init value to 1. Hope this works after all this hassle. I don't think it will because it's basically doing the same thing, just with an added comparison to see if it's alive, which I already know it's not. So alright, well, just try it. I expect it not to work. They're all set to dead. It's all saved, and they're not there. Very, very strange. I'm going to get rid of that because it's just a more complicated version of this. I've used this I've done this before in games and it's worked fine. I don't know why I run into problems when I try and do things live. It's just the way it is. It's part of the learning process for me, and if you're a beginner, you as well, if you can see what's wrong, or eventually we'll find what's wrong, seeing the steps we take. I mean, now is a good point to highlight, there are ways to debug better. You can get debugging tools. Some of them will give you tools in this actual window. Others you can force the Spectrum to print words or a log or numbers on the screen so that you can try and work out what's going on. And you can insert breakpoints, but I don't do any of that when I'm coding for Spectrum. I would with other languages where I have better tools. But so anyway, with all that said, I'm going to do my sort of caveman debugging on it. I mean, I'm struggling. I really am struggling. That looks like it works to me, but I can prove that it doesn't work just by setting them to 1 again. This one will be alive now, and everything will work correctly for him. But why are they not getting set by my code? Spawn enemy wave. The solution's obvious. Yet again. Thank goodness I spotted that. I just have to load IX in the main function as a not spawn enemy wave, enemy data. So after all that messing around for at least half an hour of the video at the end of last time, this should now spawn. In fact, let's make it all 5. Well, we've got 3 of them. Now that's confusing the hell out of me. Just out of interest, try commenting them first 2 out. I'm going to get them 3 then. So is it a limitation in Spectrum? My code's too slow. They were actually there, but they weren't being drawn. I'm going to have to investigate double buffering, but that's something I have to do off stream. But there's a way of doing double buffering where you buffer the view into memory and show it, and I think there's a trick to that to show more colors as well, or the appearance of more colors, but I might be wrong. I'm going to learn about that real soon, but first I want to try and learn the basics of collisions, get them working real smooth. I mean, this has no collision in it, and also there's some sort of glitch where if you hold the fire button it won't delete the that's interesting. What the heck's happening there? Very odd. It's struggling to draw everything already. So in that case, just for now, I guess I will only have 3 enemies. And just to tidy it up, I'll change that. I mean, it's quite minimal, but it seems to be struggling. And the reason mainly is because of this, and particularly, yes, this, where I have a number of loops going on here, simply because I want to not specify the sprite size until it gets to here. So the properties file contains the sprite size, and this uses that and then loops because of that. Whereas I could have just where these loops are, I could have just put multiple instructions, copy and pasted. I'm going to probably have to go through the painstaking hassle of doing that to see how much it improves the drawing speed. I could do that now, but I've only actually got less than half an hour in this one. Don't want to get halfway through doing that. Anyway, we've resolved that problem. So I can put them back to 0 where I wanted them. And the Y axis. We don't get any of them now. Just try back to 90 a second. Alright. So it's struggling to draw stuff at the top of the screen, even with this. I mean, a lot of old Spectrum games cheated and put a big fat UI at the top of the screen. But that won't work for this sort of game. I wondered why a lot of games like this are always stuck in a small part of the screen. This is probably how they got around it. That only gets called once. This has nothing to do with that. Try all of them. Well, in fact, let's try it just with the enemies for now. So if it does mess it up. Okay, it still works fine. So I don't think we need them. And that means we saved ourselves a small amount of memory on every single loop. Or a small amount of processing power. I should have expanded them after I'd done it, make it easier. Let's test it out. The enemies have gone. The bullets are fine. For some reason the enemies just undo everything in a second. I mean, that's strange. That makes no sense. I'm just going to check it after every adjustment I make. It's all good. It's all good, and I noticed the bullet got a tiny bit further before it vanished. Again, all good. Yeah, I mean that's only getting called once, so well, we've removed them unneeded ones, but it hasn't helped us a great deal. Might not need that for now. Won't make any difference whatsoever. I think I will put it back. It just moves the bullet up before we spawn it. Very, very odd. If I was to remove 2 of those enemies from the loop, it'll probably draw a lot higher now. Bullet. Yeah. It's all to do with it not being able to draw it. I need to add a second halt statement into my loop. But every time I try and do that, I introduce flickering. I mean, I'll try and add it right next to that one. Sod it. Can't really see that helping. Oh, it has helped a great deal. Still got that graphical glitch now and then. I think the way our delete code works, sometimes it's failing, it seems. Could possibly fix that just by moving the position of where we delete and draw and move. Well, that's helped us a lot anyway. We've got it running at 25 FPS and it seems to handle it now. In fact, let's try a couple more enemies. So it's hit its limit. So I need to come up with a way to combat this. I mean, of course, I could make the sprites, the enemies, half their height. Let's try that. So in the data, size Y lines, so I'm going to change them to 8. And actually in the bitmaps, I'm going to delete ME2, I just made it for fun. I'm going to copy enemy 1. I comment it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, delete. I see our enemies are just half the size now in height. I'm wondering how much difference that's going to make. It seems to have made a hell of a difference. There's no flickering whatsoever. This graphical glitch is obviously something separate. With our delete code, I would expect. But that's made a hell of a difference, yeah. So they were a little bit big. Now they're a little bit small, but if you design them right, the sprites, they probably would look pretty good for a shooting game that size. fact, they already look alright. They're not that bad. I'm definitely going to go away and draw a nice one though, so it doesn't look completely stupid when I'm, looking at the game. I'll design some sort of little ship. We've got about 15 minutes left here, so I'm just not going to do anything too in depth. Bit of movement. Let's see if we can draw these enemies right at the top of the screen now, which we need to be able to do. We can, but they flicker. Okay, so we're right at our limit already of what we can do with this system, it seems. But there are other ways, things I can look at to do other than the double buffering. Try a halt there, so they're now even slower. They're still flickering. At the top of the screen, that is. We could always put a UI at the top. Let's give ourselves let's give ourselves 24 pixel for a top bar. We'll make that black somehow, and maybe print some writing there. Still flickers. I'm running out of ideas. Let's try 32 again. Just one flickering. Alright, 40 then. Let's just try it, see what it looks like. Okay, that's perfect. Starts to flicker when there's a bullet. Right at the limit. Christ. I'm just going to zoom this in so I can have a look at it myself. I think we could get away with one more character cell down and see if it helps us. It made all the difference. We need to speed up our ship so it can move faster. Let's do that now. It's another simple thing. I've actually made a constant for the player speed. I think. I thought I had. Oh, there it is. Let's try 8. Let's put our bullet speed up to 12. 12, yeah. No. Let's go 10. In fact, just to be annoying, I'm going to go 9. Because that's like nowhere near a character cell. It's just over. I just want to see how it behaves. Also, I'm going to put that down to 15 so we can fire quicker. There's still only a maximum of 2 bullets allowed. Got a major graphic glitch there. It's about when if you press if the keyboard command, it's something to do with the keyboard happening too much. I need to maybe come. I think where I use the bullet timer, I'll do that on the actual keyboard input rather than inside the method the keyboard input calls. I think that's the key there. I'm getting sidetracked because I've forgotten what I was actually doing. Oh, I was meant to be speeding the ship up. Didn't feel much faster. I'm going to change these to 16, the bullet speed, so it is a character cell. It's 2. Change that to 16 so I saw it. And the speed. Right, that feels a bit better. Obviously, you've lost some fine-tuned controls. Perhaps we could bring in a button that you could hold to make yourself fine-tune movement. Or vice versa, you know, speed up the movement with a button. We're going to have to ignore that graphical glitch with the bullet for now. Haven't got time to look at that. I'm just balancing it a bit. Oh look, we're going to have to take into account, like I was talking about, going to have to put a bigger buffer. Let's quickly do that. Is it per speed X? Let's double check. Yes it is. Right, that's all good. I'd like us to be able to fire a bit faster. We're going to have to sort that out. Definitely need to sort out that graphic glitch. And then after that, we'll sort out the enemy movement. That's just where they're going to spawn. Obviously I can draw a top bar, that's not a problem. I'll just do that directly in colour memory at the start of the game and then never touch it. Make that the same colour as the border, probably. Make the border black. Yeah, after we've done that, we'll create a movement pattern for the enemies. How I'm going to do that is a default pattern where they move down towards you, only maybe 16 pixels. Then they hover. One by one, they'll move at you. That's going to be tricky doing the move at. I might just make it so they move gradually towards the middle of the screen, something like that. It's all basic. This, it's not meant to be like a super snazzy upgrade to whatever is already about. Just a learning experience. I'm happy with the movement of the character or the player, or whatever you want to call it. I think I will add 2 separate speeds, so we can do that with a button. That'll make a little addition to the game. Might slow down the bullets a bit as well. I'm going to upload this to GitHub, and then I'm going to have a go at fixing that keyboard thing just really quick before I go to work. Right, so that's now in the repo. And I think a quick fix for this is where we do the timer here, fire timer. we could actually do that. Up here instead. It's a bit crude with the return in there, because it stops you being able to move right on that frame if you've if the bullet yeah, I don't like that actually. If it's over the interval, the C flag will be reset. So call NC file. We'll have to push AF. That looks alright to me. This might fix it, or it might not. Oops. That was weird, it didn't even boot. Okay, well now it's just firing because I forgot to check the thing, and it is still doing the glitch. Do you know what? Undo all that. It's better off down there, I think. So I think I've deduced from that that it's to do with the ordering of our delete bullets and the move bullets and the draw bullets. This probably ain't going to work either, but I've just stored all this code in GitHub anyway. I can go back, I can roll back. I'm going to delete the bullets, then I'm going to move them straight after, and then straight after that I'll do draw bullets. I don't think this goes towards convention the way I've done this. I'm drawing bullets before I've even deleted the other sprites and handled the movement, but it'll help me see if that code, if that glitch still exists. Yes, it does. And also the position of it isn't in line with the player anymore. So that's the opposite of a solution again. Save it, compile it, see if it shoots in the right place now. Seems pretty good. Just got to figure out why that's happening. Tricky. Other than going in, where's our delete sprites? Delete bullets. Like, to fix that truly, we'd need to just delete every single character cell, wouldn't we? Because they get drawn every frame anyway. If I can maybe come up with a fast way of doing that, we could get rid of all the deletes. Yeah, that's going to be something I do when I get back from work, because I've got 3 minutes now, so can't do anything sadly, but just wind it up here. It does now work, that problem. Yep, we're going to sort out that bullet thing next. Somehow. Don't quite know how. Well, I'm going to come up with a way of just deleting every character regardless. We'll just go through every character in order. I think that's the answer. Although it'll have to be every pixel, and that doesn't sound very fast to me. There's a lot of pixels. We'll try it though. Anyway, thank you for viewing. There's going to be more to this series coming up real soon. See you guys there. Thank you.